Can I just say something? When I was 10 years old, I was on the street in Accra selling ice water. At that point in our lives, in my parents' lives, we didn't have a lot. We got kicked out from my grandfather's house. Things were very hard. Yeah. Everybody was working at that point. My two sisters went selling things. I went selling things. My dad was working. My mom was working. And this was to bring money to the house. Does that mean my mom sold me into slavery because I was 10 years old and I was working?
That's not slavery.
But are you working for your family or you're working for a master? Why you working for
They get money back.
Exactly.
What the kids are doing, they go home and they take money back. I'm telling you, CNN has been trying to crack this story since 2015 to make it seem like these people are just like bad and they're all this interview, they only interview one person, this baby called Ebenezer. They keep interviewing this one. It's like, I don't understand how you are saying a whole people in the camp slavery and you keep interviewing one person to narrate the whole story.
For everyone. So in many levels, when we're talking about this situation, it happened across Africa. We've definitely seen our kids, like you said, your story that you mentioned, that you were young, you were outside, you were selling pure water. So think about why is this happening and what can happen for it to stop. Because it can't be a continued narrative that we are still in this place where we haven't moved. What's happening with the resources? Because when we talk about Ghana, Ghana is one of the rich with resources.
We've argued the part about the slavery. Now let's go further and look at the dangerous part of it. It goes beyond just kids being sold into slave masters. It also goes to the fact that there's child labor going on, there's child endangerment. The parents don't really sit to think about all these things. You having a child go on a boat without the knowledge of the child swimming, and you don't know the child is going to come back. So also in Africa, in Nigeria, you have kids that are being sent on the road to go sell water like you had to do. And they have to run in traffic in between incoming cars on the expressway trying to sell their goods.
Yeah.
Kids get run over by trucks. Kids get run over by cars. Kids get raped. Kids get robbed.
Yeah.
And the idea of this happening to children, parents don't really go that far. They're concerned about the moment. This is something that they grew up doing. You have parents who have 10 children with the idea in their mind that when the kids get to a certain age, they're going to put them on the coconut plantation to go farm. Yeah. That's their own, that's their investment.
Yeah.
All right? So they're not thinking about the adverse effect of this act. So let's look at this angle. Look at it.
There's definitely a very blasé attitude when it comes to that. In our countries that we're from, it's very blasé, and it's kind of like people think we're still in the 70s and the 80s and early 90s. But now with all these cars that are driving on the road, with all of these people from different walks of life being in the streets, your children are not safe anymore. Right. They're children.
Even ritualists and stuff that go on, whether we accept it or not, those things really happen.
Yes,
so there's so much danger out there for the kids.
Of course, there's just so much a poverty alleviation can do for a country. There should be a lot of poverty alleviation programs that help average families like this at the end of the day, because everything, whether it's slavery or it's not slavery, now still condition they make people go do it that they do.
Absolutely.
You understand, So the poverty alleviation program will really help families, average families.
Yeah, but it doesn't really help the families.
Get it together.
The politicians, the people in power are the ones that are being alleviated from their riches to more riches. It doesn't get. We can preach this all we want, but we need to actually start to change the mind of our parents, change the way they think and how they see what they're doing, how it's the norm, and make them understand it's no longer the norm. Times have changed, and you have to get with the program.
And then
you also have to provide them
what
other
can we do?
options,
right?
Because
After school programs.
Provide them with other
programs,
options because, like I said before, that's all they know. There are a
That's
lot
all
of
they
kids
know.
like this. It's not even in the Volta region. If you come to the big city,
Accra,
Accra, Choco, that whole place, they are known for introducing little. You looked at me when I said Choco, but that's the name of the place. They introduce little kids to fishing at a very young age, and sometimes these kids can't wait to do it. They can't wait to start that hard labor, going into the sea. When they come back, they feel like they've accomplished something. You know,
they have that in Lagos as well too. Makoko, I don't know if you know Makoko.
Makoko,
Yeah, they have a lot of that over there.
So to them, it might be normal, right? To them, it might be something that it's the culture. And then when these old people come in, what are you doing? At this age, you're going to the sea, you're going to the forest. This must be some slavery shit going on.
If you take the cameras down there, they'll be like,
Wildfire Stone Plantation is still in Liberia.
If you take the cameras down there, the parents will just be like, what's it we go do now? Now the only life we will know be this. If we know work, we know go chop.
You know what's crazy?
You understand?
It's crazy how they can put the term to this. And I'm sorry, I know I'm like straddling this fence. I'm talking about here and I'm talking about the other side. But it's crazy how they can put a name to this and put the cameras on this. But these are the same people, the same Oyibo will come to Africa and use children to look for diamonds. So,
what is
and then they had full knowledge of that. That's pure. That right there, that was actual slavery. That was them using kids, whipping kids till they die when they try to hide diamonds. They knew exactly what was going on.
So then what do you call what Trump did then? Locking them kids in the cages
and separating them from their parents.
What is that? Did they focus on that? Did CNN focus on that? Is it still going on?
No, they
because they're still separating kids.
Followed it. But I think the thing that is good is that it's shining a light on the fact that slavery is child labor, trafficking is still happening all over the world. In Asia, in India, everywhere. It's happening. And in Africa, and of course they are definitely going to countries that are less, less wealthy, like the upper class is more than the lower class. So how do we kind of shine the light and let these people know that even like whatever you're going to do, are you even getting paid enough to be able to lose your child? Like how much money are you getting for you to put your life, your child in this thing? And why don't you teach, like, I think it's okay. We do learn apprenticeship. People learn how to sew, do everything. It's fine, but maybe you're the one teaching them, and you're not giving them to a master or to somebody.
Glitch, we're talking about Africa, where you have parents that would give birth to a child and by themselves sell the baby out because they don't have enough to feed. We covered a story on here where a man and a woman sold their a newborn baby because they had 5 children. They sold the 5th baby out because they wanted money for better life. So, like, how do you now begin to convince these people that these children that you have, who they see as their resources, they see those children as investments? How do you not convince them not to look at those kids that way and to actually shelter them or cater for them better?
So then, how do we change this when this is a norm, though? Because yes, there is a law in Ghana that kids can work at the age of 15 and up. So before you can get a job, you have to be 15.
Which means this fishing stuff is illegal.
It's illegal, but then
do the parents see it as them working?
Are they even educated to know that this is even illegal? They don't know. So they have to make the rule like strict, very very strict. Because the same rules are here as well. You can't work until you're a certain age, but you
also
can
educate the people on the different things. Like like somebody like I know there's a lot of people that are just popping ties and bow ties in minister of this one and minister of this. Why don't they have some of the people go on the ground and do outreach? You just have to outreach to these people and tell them this is some of the things that you can do. This is what you need to learn, because if they don't know, they're not going to know better. You know what I'm saying?
Education.
Do they have local authorities in that area?
Plenty.
Max, we have everything.
Plenty.
At this point, you asked whether we have education. It's like, is this shame? We have it. I told you.
Charlie,
they went into the camp with policemen.
Okay, now let me tell you the reason why I said that is because sometimes the president has a lot on the table. So if we have local authorities or whatever, I don't know, they should just start somewhere.
You don't even need the president to fix those kind of issues.
So they should just start somewhere. Charlie, stop looking at me like that. It's not shame.
They went in there with CNN, with the crew, camera crew, with the policemen. Went to the camp and only took 3 people. I'm like, everybody there, you are saying they are being enslaved. Why only? What was so special about those 3 kids that you picked them up?
Because the 3 kids can actually tell the narrative the way they wanted to.
The way they wanted to.
We're trying to offer a solution now. Like, where do we start from to change this narrative, especially with what Glitz is talking about?
We have to enforce
organizing
the law.
Programs, educating parents, and the kids,
and provide an alternative.
Setting things in place, structures.
It's important to provide an alternative, an escape route. If you want the kids, these parents who get $300 or $500 from the children being given to their masters,
that's a lot of money. Or they don't get that much.
They don't get that much. Is it $500 in Ghana?
I have no problem with them trying to do fishing. Okay, if you want to fish, right? Let's have a class about fishing, safety fishing. How to do it, how to do it right. And then when you graduate, you get your certificate, and then we know you are good. Let's do it like that. Because sometimes the kids want to do that.
No matter what, the age is still too young.
It's still
it's not safe to be jumping into the big river at that age.
Every one of us that was born in Africa knows that there were certain things we had to do or be a part of because of, depending if you weren't born into privilege or a golden spoon in your mouth. But there's times when you're going to say no to certain things for your that happen to your kids. It's safety. Let's think about our kids' safety, because if you do want to rear workers, it's what you're doing. You want them to live past a certain age, right? If you want to rent, you're working class. You know, you need to let them live. So just think about what you're putting, where you're putting your kids, what you're putting them up against, and what's going to happen.
And it happens everywhere. And I feel like slavery has an image now because of what we've been through in the past.
Absolutely.
When we see something like this, dirty looking and all of that, but there are more than slavery going on. So we also have to look at that, you know? So
there's a good resource, freetheslaves.org. If you want to be a part of helping and stopping child slavery all over the world, you join them, and they really also help in giving people, like when they take people out of slavery, they give them money to start their own businesses, to start to get educated. So it's not just taking you out of slavery and then dropping you somewhere else where you're more than likely going to go back to it. They equip you with kind of the tools to start your own thing and do your own thing. So.
All right.
Before we go, Charlie, about that your pure water business.
Pure water.
It's a pure water business.
I mean, at the age of 10, you were already making money. So I wanted to know, how was your experience
All right,
there?
relax. I wasn't making money now. I only did it for 1 week. But the point is, you guys might laugh, but I have like absolute respect for those people that do it. Listen, it is not easy to stand under that hot weather sun in Africa selling pure water, whereby in the next hour the water is not going to be cold.
It's cold
already hot. Nobody will buy it. Like,
how was the experience? What did it do for you?
It was very eye-opening for me.
Yes.
Like, I learned a lot. Like, you know, I was like, wow, this is what people do. I only did it for one week. People do this for years and years and years. People will be carrying hot kinky in that hot sun. You know, and then sometimes they'll go and nobody will buy it. They have to carry that heavy kinky back home.
Oh, wow.
So, Mark.
Yes.
It's not easy.
I know.
It teaches you resilience.
We're with you.
You have lived.
We're with you.
Yes. So now when I go to Ghana, I don't buy one water, I buy two.
Yes.
Only two? You should buy the whole thing.
Support the
Cheapskate.
So yeah, like, you know, shout out to all those people, by
All
the
the
way,
pure
you know, making, you know,
We're
trying to
with you.
make money.
Petty
But
traders.
yes, let us know in the comment section your thought on these topics.
Please do.
Okay, share your experience as well. We want to hear from you. Until next time you're watching the ABS show, this is MinaTV. Bye.
Thanks for watching. And if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.